Hey y'all, it's me, Nafataria with CPDollars.com, and I am here with Julius Deese and Brittany Taylor of Black Luxe Candle Co. How are you guys today?
We are good. We're good.
All right, and thank you all for sitting and chatting with me. So first, I basically just want to ask you all, just tell us a little bit about yourselves and your company and what it is that you do, and you can include like your educational background as well.
Okay, well, I can get started. So as far as my educational background goes, um, it's kind of a long, winding road, but it's kind of ends up in the same direction. So my degree is actually in advertising art direction. I
Mm.
originally went to school for graphic design, but I ended up with a degree in advertising. Um, after college, I actually ended up working in marketing. So I kind of skipped from advertising over to marketing and marketing for real estate. So that's some of my educational background. Julius, you can share some of your educational background too.
All right. So my educational background is in education. I'm actually got a degree in middle school science, elementary and middle school science,
Okay.
and endorsements in all of the subjects. So I'm able to teach middle school for like any middle school all the way down through like kindergarten. For any of the subject matters. And I was able to kind of take this and apply like my knowledge in science and education into the business in and of itself. And we kind of turning it around from there, basically.
Okay, so can you tell us exactly what your business is and what you all do?
Okay, so Black Luxe Candle Co. is what we call an experience company. We just don't sell candles, we sell experiences, okay?
Okay.
So you don't just come to us for a candle, okay? We're not just the candle people. All right. We have Julius here. He is like the experience extraordinaire. But basically what we do is that we have a store in Wicker Park where we have candle making classes. That has become more of our full time day to day, but we also sell other candle products as well. You want to
Okay.
add to that?
Yes, I'll go ahead and add a little bit of background as far as what we do as a business, because we actually started out just making this started out as just making candles um
Bless
by
you.
hand, like handcrafted candles, and putting it together to be able to sell via vendor shows and e-commerce and things like that. And we actually got an opportunity to get into a physical space back in 2021, and that's where we blossomed into the candle making experience component and allowed for that to grow into what it is today.
Okay, I love that. So thanks for also telling us a little bit about what got you all started. Were there some more of these like what was the inspiration behind even starting to make the candles for the vendors?
It's a long winding road with that too. The story is quite long, but we'll give you the truncated version of it.
Okay.
I always start with this
Go
like
ahead.
thing when we like do our interviews. Like I didn't choose this candle life. Okay, this candle life chose me. And I always
Okay.
kind of explain what I mean by that. So back in December of 2018, it was a Christmas time, right? So I was like, oh man, I gotta come up with some Christmas gifts. And I was like, you guys gonna get the gifts that I actually made. Okay, it just so happened to be candles this time. So after Christmas, people had came back was like, hey, are you gonna sell those candles that you had made? And I said, absolutely not. I'm working corporate full time. I'm not worried about selling no candles. Then someone else came back and said, hey, you gonna sell those candles? And I'm like, no, I'm not selling any candles. Then someone else was like, hey, would you teach me how to make candles? And I was like, wait, I don't even know how to make a candle. I just follow like the instructions from the
Yeah.
Amazon kit. I don't even know how this all works. But it got me to thinking, maybe it's something to this. Maybe I can kind of think of something. And I was like, I'm trying to look for extra money each month. Let me see if I can make something work here. Because in corporate, like, look, you got to do what they tell you to do. So I was like, let me see if I can have me a little creative outlet. So in January of 2019, Black Luxe was actually created out of the demand. And then
Okay.
we've been going through like a journey, and Black Lux has grown over the years from the demand, the organic demand. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, it essentially built from that. And like we had our official launch by April of 2019. And we started things off, like I said, just doing e-commerce, selling via online.
Okay.
And that just kind of that let us know that there might be something to this, because she had an initial goal of just like, if I can make $100, I'll be happy. And I'm like, that's it. The stuff that you spent on it costs more than that.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, it was like, okay, we'll see how it goes. And we went ahead and moved forward with it. And using the skills that we had, we allowed for ourselves to like really make this become something more than what it probably should have been.
Okay.
And people let us know that by purchasing and letting us know that they wanted the products that we had to offer. And it's been doing that ever since.
Oh, I love the story. I love it, love it, love it. So can you tell us a little about some of the obstacles that you all encountered starting off with the candle company?
The obstacles starting off.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, was there anything that you ran into, any difficulties that you all had?
one of the first obstacles, she's not speaking about it right now, but one of her first obstacles was like just getting the product to actually be a viable product to sell in the first place.
Okay.
However, one of the fortunate parts of that obstacle, like she just couldn't get the candles to smell like anything. The Amazon kit was able to do it, but she wasn't able to do it when she was doing it from scratch. So
Okay.
from that obstacle, she was able to actually solicit my support in that regard, because I was just kind of more so like in the peripheral, like just kind of supporting her, like saying, yeah, you got it, you can do this. But then she actually sought my support in like helping create the formula for the
Yeah.
candles themselves, so they actually get a smell and everything. So that's how I got kind of pulled into the fray. um, from there, we were able to like actually have a viable product, and they smelled good, they were able to last. And as we were doing a lot of testing, we were seeing how it was working, and we said like, okay, we really got something going here.
That
So that was obstacle number one.
So that was one of the first things that we had to work on, was actually having a formula, because I was like, I gotta learn how to make an actual candle. So I like the first candle that I had made. Okay, it didn't have a sink, and I was like, something is wrong here. Julius is like one of those big math people, so I'm like, I think that you with somebody that don't know how to do math, because this formula not giving anything. Okay, and of course, the formula that he came up with actually worked. So apparently, I don't know how to do math. Okay, so that was so that was the first thing. Since my background is in marketing, I really had an advantage of like how to produce demand for myself. So that was one of the advantages that I had. But I still had to learn how to grow through things with actually creating that demand and maintaining demand. But I learned through that. Also, another thing that I'm dealing with and still deal with now currently is that when we first got the store in 2021, is also when I first learned about my hearing loss. My hearing loss is something that's fairly new to me. I haven't always been hard of hearing. So in 2021, I noticed that like my hearing was going away, and I mean, it was going away quickly. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I can't hear people anymore. But I was diagnosed with hearing loss. And at the same time, we had the opportunity to open a store. And I said, oh my goodness, how are we going to open a store? And I can't even hear people. And
Right.
Julie's just like, no, you better figure it out, because, we're going to get this store. So I've been on that journey since 2021 with learning how to manage a business, a store, and people, all while I can't hear very well. So that's another thing that I have to personally deal with constantly. Another thing with coming that comes from having Black Lux is that it persists. People are there. There's no such thing as a break. Okay. It's like, hey, when you
Okay.
hey, all right. I'm like, I'm tired. So since I work, like me and Julius work really, really hard. So we try to like put like some breaks in there. But with working so hard can be a thing called burnout.
Yeah.
That's another challenge that we have to work through. It's like learning how to manage time so you can, relax and still do work as well. Because now that we're both full time on the business, that's really, really important.
Yeah. And that was
Okay.
actually one of the other challenges that came into play, was how to manage everything while still working. One thing that happened with Brittany was the pandemic was the source of her opportunity to give Black Lux her full undivided attention. And because that being what it was, I encouraged her, like, this is your opportunity to like really give Black Lux, give it your all, because you have the opportunity to do so now. Me, on the other hand, I was still teaching. I mean, it was still a demand for everything that we were doing as far as
Yeah.
teachers. So as that was happening, I was able to keep it going, but that growth continued to persist. And it got to the point where the beginning of 2021-22 school year, I had in mind to take a break from teaching after that school year. Like by the end of that school year, I said I was gonna, take some time off from it or whatever. By the end of that 2021 school year, that wasn't even an option. That was a requirement. So
Okay.
yes, it was like I was being torn apart at the seams because of the demand for everything going on. Anybody who knows anything about like being a teacher knows that there are tons of hours that get dedicated to teaching outside of the time that you're actually teaching the kids.
Yeah.
And to do that and this at the same time with a growing business was definitely a challenge for my own as well as our collective mental health. So being able to get through that and make the tough decision to do one thing or the other is always one of those challenges that anybody who's an entrepreneur and still working their day-to-day job have to contend with.
Okay, well, I think that's a good challenge to have. The business took off and it seems like it's still doing great. And I'm really excited for you all. Of course, no burnouts. We want everybody to get their breaks, but it's still good to just really have a successful business like that. And it's very exciting, especially with you all being up north and everything, because you relocated, right? You had a different store.
Yes, our first
Okay.
store, actually our original store was still north. It wasn't very far north. It was in the Wicker Park, Bucktown area.
Okay.
It was originally 1741 North Damon Avenue.
Okay.
And we moved from there deeper into Wicker Park. And our current location is now 1252 North Milwaukee Avenue. So we're like right on that Milwaukee strip now.
Okay, I love it for you all. I really do. And then my last question is, what advice would you give to someone trying to start a candle company? What advice would you give them?
Know your numbers. You got to know a little bit of math. Okay. I would say first things first, that's one of my biggest challenges was like understanding that I'm self-aware and knew that numbers wasn't my biggest thing. So I had to go to someone that actually knew some numbers. Okay. So I would say that one, two, persistence, because this is not easy at all. And then it gets boring. It gets to the point where people like send you emails like, look, I don't like your business like that, but I want you to fix that. I'm like, okay. So you have to also kind of be calm and patient, and you have to pace yourself. Having an accountability partner helps a lot.
Yeah.
To forward. So I would say for someone that's looking to get started, it's definitely find an accountability partner to keep you focused on what's going on in your business. That's for me.
Advice that I would give is, yeah, persistence is definitely one of them. Like
Okay.
you're going to have to understand that if you don't have the persistence, the wherewithal, the gumption to actually go out there and try to make it happen, it's not going to happen.
No.
Like you have to have the willingness to go out there to do it, and not just the willingness, but the actual, you have to put in the legwork.
Yes.
And knowing the fact that you will be having to put in that type of legwork can mentally prepare you for the work that you'll be doing. But even then, you won't necessarily be mentally prepared for the amount of legwork you have to put in. You might know that you got to do it, but like once you realize, like, oh wow, it's a lot that you have to end up taking care of. And one more piece of advice is understanding people is extremely important.
Oh, that's very important.
Like if you don't have an understanding of how to not just deal with people, but how to manage people, how to like just understand people overall, like having empathy for people, different things like that, then what you're going to end up running into is you're going to get wrapped up into your own feelings and not understanding that the people are the ones that are going to be paying you the money in the first place.
Understood. That's some really great advice, and thank you for sharing it. So this is the last piece. If you guys could just give us all your information just one more time, your name, business name, address, social media handles. This is your 15-second commercial, I guess.
Oh,
All right, we're gonna need a little more than 15 seconds. This is Brittany. I'm Julius. We're the owners of Black Luxe Candle Co. We currently reside at, or at least Black Luxe resides at 1252 North Milwaukee Avenue in Chicago, Illinois. You can follow us on social media. We do have a website as well, BlackLuxeCandles.com. We do still sell our candles on Black Luxe. Some people, they know about the candle classes and don't realize that we actually have products on Black Luxe that you can purchase as well.
Okay.
Our social media handles at Black Luxe Candles on Instagram and TikTok, Black Luxe Candle Co on Facebook, as well as we're on Pinterest and
using Pinterest like that.
So,
Yeah, you can find us on Pinterest. You can find us on all social media platforms. Actually, only thing you have to do is Google Black Luxe Candles and we'll pop up. Okay, you go read those reviews so we can come take care of y'all.
Okay.
And if you do spot it, you should see a logo that looks just like what's on her shirt. Show them the logo on the shirt.
My shirt.
We got some imposters out there. So
You can't even see it on here. Let's get it. Look, I'm sorry, I messed up your video.
No worries. So it's Black Luxe, and that's LUXE Candle Co. Okay.
Yep.
So I just wanted to make sure everybody had all your information. And again, thank you all so much for sitting and chatting with me. It has been a joy, and thank you.
Appreciate it. Absolutely.